Right, first of all I'll show you just about the eye relief, because we've got some left over from the work I did previously. So if it's been mixed with dry and water-based medium, do not throw it away, it will keep forever. And I keep a little pot, whether it's been tinted, as this one has with a little bit of colour, or not. It'll all mix in together and you can let it down and use it all again and not waste a drop. So that will go in there, and we can just bring that down and thin it with a little bit more medium or some water, whatever. And it will not go to waste, and there we are, we've got it marked. With the medium it's been mixed in, ready to go at a show or wherever. So I would just literally clean the top with a drop of water, and that's away and done. Okay, and now I'm going to show you how to gild the trimming, which I've done on another piece very similar to what I did earlier, and what kind of brush I will use, and perhaps how to approach putting liquid bright gold onto it. So I'll move those out of the way, get a fresh tissue, and here's my gold, liquid bright gold, and thinners, which those are spare bits of gold. It's worn off the top, but that is actually gold thinners. So I use a tissue just to take the top off so I don't get gold all over my hands. There's the top for one, and there's the top for the thinners. And I keep them handy, and that's, can you just see on there the size of the brush that I'm actually going to use to trim, because if you use one too big, it's going to flood too much. So basically I'll give it a little swish in the thinners, which eventually, if my gold thickens up, I would use the thinners that she's only had my brush with a little bit of gold on, and I would thin the gold with that if it's thickened in any way. So there's the brush ready to go. So let's trim. So working across the piece, whichever, if you're left-handed, right-handed, whichever suits, dip it into the gold and literally trim both sides of it. If you try to flood too much on, it's just going to literally flood out too much. So I would do very patiently both sides of the gold until, and then I would turn it round and do the other side so that I'd got a really good coverage. And fill it on a little bit at a time, taking your time, because if you try to put too much on, it bleeds over onto the satin or luster, whatever you've done, and ends up looking too thick and too clumsy. So just a little at a time until you've touched the plate, or the wear, I should say, on either side. Filling it over a little at a time. Probably flooded it a little too much there, but that's rather a wide piece. Until you've worked around the piece gently, teasing it on. Whoops, let's move that out of the way. Keep dipping into the gold until you feel happy. And try not to get it on any of the satin wear, because if you do, it's going to leave a permanent mark. And if you do get any or make a mistake, immediately get a cotton bud and use a bit of spit, which is what I use, and it works. As in, if I make a deliberate mistake, and I make a mistake like that, and I think, oh goodness, how am I going to get that off? This is how I would do it. Go in, get a cotton bud, which I should have had about ready. This is between the pot. Bit of spit, and literally bring it back, take it off, touch more. it works for me. Until you've done it 3 times. 1 to get the gold off, 2 to get the smudge off, and 3 to make sure. And that should take every trace, and then they'll go in the bin. And away you go for trimming again. And that should take any smear. If you don't, satin absorbs the gold and you cannot remove it, whatever you try to do. Once it's fired, there's no chance it will come off. And that would be how I would continue to work around the whole piece in a similar manner until I was happy that I'd covered all traces of the white high relief. Okay, so we'll just continue in a similar manner until you've completed.